Well, today we have got a mission on our hands. Today we are undertaking something so large that it's very big. I don't know where I was going with that one. I was originally going to stream this, but I had some free time and I wanted to get some advent calendar stuff done, so I ended up not streaming it, so it's just a video, which is, you know, I guess you have to deal with that one. But for anyone who doesn't know, I have always been a huge fan of Doctor Who. Since I was 8 years old, probably. I don't know if that's correct. 9 years old, and I first randomly tuned into School Reunion because my parents put it on, because it's the one that Sarah Jane was in, and obviously they knew her from back in the day. And immediately, me and my brother just fell in love with it, went back and watched all the series one, continued to watch it week in, week out as it would come out, and to this day, I still absolutely love it. Well, I mean, I like the concept of, I don't like the product. I mean, it's going to be good again. Anyway, I thought it would be fun to go through all of modern Doctor Who. I can't do the classic era because I haven't got through it all yet. I am currently watching it. I'm up to season 7, but that's not enough, so I can't do that yet. But I am well versed in modern Doctor Who. So I've got myself an energy drink. I'm about to have a heart attack, and we're going to tier list every new Who episode from 2005 to 2022. Let's fucking go. Also, this video is part of the Advent Calendar series that I do in December, so if you're interested in watching any other videos as part of the Advent Calendar, where I upload every single day in the build up to Christmas, something different every day, we try and mix it up, we have some variety, hit the link in the description and head over to the playlist and see what else I got to offer. Maybe you'll find something, maybe you won't, and in that case, go and do, you know, something else, I guess. Anyway, let's do the thing. Alright, so I found this tier list. It was all in the wrong order, but I've ordered it. I've sat and I've ordered it, which I didn't need to do, but I wanted to do it in order because I don't know what's wrong with me. It doesn't really matter that, but I feel like that's a reasonable. Anyway, I also customized the tier options as well. We go from God tier all the way down to a war crime. There are some that have been done. Alright, number 1, Rose, the very first episode. Now, I don't want to be too generous with the God tier. I feel like this is for very, very exceptional episodes. Now, thinking you should know about me is I do a lot of critiquing and analysis, and so I have like very high standards for things. So stuff that you might think was like pretty good, I might think was like awful, and you know, stuff that you thought was like God tier, I might think was just great, because I operate like that in my noggin. So don't feel too upset if I don't. If I think something is just great, I think it was great. You know what I mean? Anyway, Rose, I think is, pardon the pun, fantastic, because it's a perfect way to establish Doctor Who to a brand new audience. It establishes where the Doctor is at, it establishes where Rose is at, it establishes tone, it establishes stakes, it establishes everything very well, but also it's just oozing with character. We are introduced to the 9th Doctor, who is brilliant. We're introduced to, obviously, Rose and her family as well, which is really good. You know, Jackie and Mickey. They do a really good job here in this episode of just conveying everything that makes Doctor Who, but also what makes Russell T Davies, and I think that this episode just encapsulates that. I don't think it's anything hugely exceptional on a conceptual level. So you look at like the villain, you know, it's the Autons. Does the Nestine consciousness age very well? No, but I think it is a fantastic episode, and it really works as a way to open this brand new era of the show, and I think it did a tremendous job in doing that. I don't think it's a God tier episode by any means, but I do think it is fantastic. So that's where we're putting it for now. I don't think every explanation for why I put an episode where is going to be the same length, because otherwise we are going to be here for a long time, aren't we? The End of the World. Now, this episode I think is not good. I mean, it's not bad, but also, like, it's not that good. It has some iconic moments, like we get introduced to Cassandra. It's Rose's first journey in the TARDIS. You've got the classic moment where they play Britney Spears on the fucking jukebox. That's brilliant. And, of course, you've got the final scene in which you learn about the Time War. You learn that the Doctor's the last of the Time Lords. There's this really good connection between Rose and the Doctor. It's a beautiful scene. I absolutely love that scene. It's one of my favorites in Doctor Who. And I think that's why, for me, End of the World ends up being in the great category, because there are so many things in this that I think are great, although the episode on the whole would probably be more in the middling category, but I think there's so many things in this that are great that I think I want to bump it up to the great category, because I value them quite a lot, and I think they play into the overall arc of the Ninth Doctor, Rose's arc and everything in such a nice way. This is a very poignant episode for our characters, and so I think I put it in great, even though the episode itself is a bit, I mean, whatever, you know? The Unquiet Dead. I do enjoy this one, but I have to be honest with myself. It's very much a middling episode. I like the concept, and I think that for me is what bumps it up from like bad, because I think some of the stuff in this is a bit, it's, very Mark Gatiss in that, like, it's like a bit surface level. Like, the character work is a bit more flat than Rose and the End of the World. Although there are some nice moments, and, I do like what they do with the concept that it's, it's a Charles Dickens story, and we get to do the ghosts, and, it's a bit fun, and it's got a really nice ending too. And it's our first historical episode too, so there are parts that I find fun, but I do think as Series 1 goes especially, this is a very mid episode. Very, very mid. Aliens of London and World War III. Now, this episode, there's so many of these that are like, so they go both ways. I'm going to throw this in great, and the reason I'm going to do that is because I think the character work in this episode is brilliant. I love that we get to see more about Rose's family. I love that that's a thing, because that was something we never got to see in the old era of Doctor Who, is, the companions having a home and a family and returning to that, and the Doctor having to then be a part of that world too. And I think that's explored very well. It's one of Russell's strengths, is how he writes character and family and all of those things. Jackie takes center stage in this. She is fucking brilliant. We get to see what happened with Mickey. It's also that plot point that the Doctor accidentally took her back a year later instead of 24 hours later, and that's interesting. That adds another layer of drama to it, and I like that a lot. It's this idea of consequences building. And I also really like the political allegory that the episode is trying to convey. I think that's done in such an interesting way, especially the time that it came out. And I think it's something that still ages quite well today, unfortunately. Then on top of that, you've obviously got the Slitheen, which are the most goofy villains, and they are, I would say, like, bad. I don't really like the Slitheen. I think, I like them, but, I don't as well. It makes sense that Russell did relegate them to Sarah Jane Adventures and never use them again in Doctor Who, because they are really dumb. They're really dumb, and the farting gag is not funny at any point. Yeah, so I think for me, there's stuff in this episode that is really great, but it's great stuff that's again amongst an episode that's really silly. And I think End of the World and Aliens of London and World War III kind of feel a bit similar in that regard. But I would throw it in great, because again, it's got such strong character work that I think it deserves to be in that category. Alright, we better start speeding the fuck up. We're gonna be here all day. Dalek, fucking god tier. That's the first god tier episode, 100%. Dalek is tremendous. The use of the single Dalek to be able to build this fear for an iconic villain is done in such an incredible way. The flip that they do on it with Rose feeling sorry for it, because obviously she doesn't know what a Dalek is, and there's that whole aspect which I think is done really well, but it also shows that Rose is kind of right as well by the end. You've got this moral dilemma of the Doctor mirroring the Daleks, and this, this anger in him that's fueled by the loss of his people and the Time War, and we get to explore that aspect of the Doctor in this era a lot more closely. It's just such a good episode. It's so tight, its themes are clear, its character arcs are done so perfectly, and it's potentially the best use of a Dalek in all of Doctor Who. I would probably say that. I feel like it is probably the best Dalek episode that we've ever got, which that might be a hot take, but it might also be what people believe. I don't really know. I don't get involved in a lot of Doctor Who discussion, so I don't really know what people think. All I know is what I think, and I'm confident in my opinions, even if I'm wrong. The Long Game, I would call this one awful. Honestly, I would put it in awful. I was thinking about going up to bad, but no, it's awful. Well, is it awful? I mean, I guess not, but I genuinely would skip this. If I was watching through, I would genuinely skip this episode. So, I think it's pretty safe to put it in awful. I just think it's not actually awful, but I do really not enjoy it. I just think it's just so boring. So maybe I would bump it up to just bad. It's just so average that I don't want to ever watch it again. You know what I mean? Like, it sets up stuff, obviously, for, you know, Bad Wolf and stuff, but, like, I don't fucking care about the Jagger Fest and fucking Simon Pegg. Like, fuck off. Father's Day. God tier. That is a God tier episode. Father's Day. What an episode. This episode never fails to make me cry. I've been rewatching Doctor Who recently, and I was fucking in tears with this fucking episode. I don't know what it is. There's just something about it that just gets me. It's this episode that focuses on what Russell's era is so full of, which is character and humanity and people, and I love that so much. And it shows, like, really what the Doctor fights for. There's that scene where he's talking to the bride and the groom about how they met, and it's just like, you know, just a completely, you know, normal thing, like getting a taxi home or whatever. And it's just this thing where the Doctor appreciates so much just regular, normal human things, and it just, yeah, I think it's just brilliant. I just think it's so fantastic, and it's what Russell's era just thrives on. And I think Father's Day is such a brilliant example of that. Empty Child and the Doctor Dances, another God tier, I think. I feel like that's another one. Like, it's a one for the history books, you know. That is an iconic villain that was only ever used once. It's not a reoccurring villain. They never come back again because it would make absolutely no sense for them to come back again. But they're iconic. The fucking gas mask zombies. It's brilliant, you know. It's one of the things that Moffat does so well is he's able to create these really unique villains for Doctor Who that are just terrifying but deeply interesting as well. And I think that this episode is brilliant with that. Obviously, the introduction to Captain Jack. John Barrowman is a bit dodgy, but, you know, character-wise, Captain Jack is great. A great episode for humor, for character interaction, for exploring a historical period too. Great themes, like just a great message, just really strong episode with a really riveting story, and also it looks like really good. I don't know what it is about it. Like, some episodes of Doctor Who can look a bit low budget and not great, but I think The Empty Child and the Doctor Dances holds up really well to this day. Like, just really convincing sets and scenery, and I really appreciate that about it. Boomtown. Now, this episode is like one of those ones where not a lot happens, but I really like it. And I think I put this in fantastic. I do think I put this in fantastic. I think it's very good. I really enjoy the restaurant scene. I think that's very good, and the conversations we get there. I really like the consequences of Rose running away and like how that's making Mickey feel. I like reflecting on that. I love this TARDIS team of the Ninth Doctor, Rose, Mickey, and Captain Jack. Like, seeing those four together, just like, I don't know, just hanging out, doing stuff. I really enjoy that aspect of this episode. And I just think it's like just really strong for character work. It's got like a good story. I really like the nuances of the main antagonist in this episode too. And I think it just overall is a very strong story with great themes. It's well written. It's got good character work, and it's just really fun. And I think that makes it fantastic. Bad Wolf and Parting of the Ways. Now, what do I think? Yeah, I don't think it's God tier, and that's because God tier is almost exclusively these episodes that I would almost say are near perfect. And Bad Wolf and Parting of the Ways, it's very close. It's very close. But I think I put it in fantastic. And the reason is because I think some parts are a bit like, the pacing isn't perfect with them. I think there's like some parts of it that are a bit slower than maybe they should be. I think some of the side characters are just a bit more flat than like what we see in like The Empty Child or in Father's Day, and they're a bit more off to the side. Obviously, there's some great stuff in there. Like, you know, as regeneration stories go, it might be my favorite. Probably is my favorite. I really love the stuff with Rose back on Earth. You know, the conversations she has with her mother. You know, you can see how she's changed, how far she's come. You know, from searching for, like, you know, from just living day to day, not really knowing what the point of anything is, to like finding something that she desperately wants to fight for. I think that's just really good. Yeah, those conversations with her family, you know, the fucking big yellow truck. You've got, obviously, this parallel and this moment where, you know, it's clearly this culmination of the Doctor, what he did during the Time War to wipe out his own people and the Daleks. He almost has the chance to do that again, but he chooses in that moment to be, you know, a coward and do the right thing, which is to not cause that much pain and damage again. And that's the moment where, over the course of the series, he's struggling to find the Doctor again, and that's the sort of the moment, that culmination where, like, no, now he is the Doctor again, like, definitely and certainly and, you know, 100%, like, in himself. And I think, like, it's just really, really well done. And I think, you know, it's fantastic. It's not one of those god tier episodes, but it is fantastic. The Christmas Invasion. I learned recently that I don't think people like this one too much. I've always thought it was pretty good. I mean, like we've established, I'm a sucker for just, like, the character stuff. I just love seeing characters, like, well written and just realized. So, like, I could watch a whole Doctor Who episode that is really just about, like, you know, Rose and her fucking family doing normal stuff, and it's not even an episode of Doctor Who, because Russell just writes characters so well. But I do think that, yeah, it's a bit of a slow one, especially on a rewatch of it, I guess. There's a lot of those scenes, like, at Unit or whatever. Is it Unit? I don't really remember. But, you know, you've got all those stuff, you know, with like, Harriet Jones and everybody, and it's not, the Doctor doesn't show up till the end, and it's great when he does, and, like, he does a sword fight, and it's, like, a bit goofy and whatever. So, although I do enjoy this and there's parts that I really like, I guess I'd probably put this in middling. It's like, you know, I don't think it's like the best introduction to a new Doctor, although David Tennant does do a lot of work to make it compelling, because, you know, he's brilliant in everything that he's in. But yeah, I reckon we'll go middling. New Earth. This episode kind of, I put in bad. I just, it's not actually bad. Like, even when an episode, like, you look at, like, Long Game and New Earth, even though there's episodes I've put them in bad, the character work is still good, and I think, like, that's one of the things that's consistent across Russell's era, is that even when you've got, like, an episode that's kind of overall, like, very meh, it's still got, like, very strong character work, and it makes it difficult for me to put it in bad, because I'm like, oh, New Earth, like, the episode itself ain't great, like, it's whatever, but, like, it's got such fun character stuff, and, like, it's well written, that I struggle to put it in bad, but I think that it's, I don't know, I suppose it's when we're, like, you know, if you're comparing Series 2, like, if you're comparing New Earth with, like, a Chibnall episode, yeah, it's not going to be bad, is it? Because the Chibnall episode is bad, so it's, like, it's going to be weird when we get there, and I'm, like, we're putting, like, fucking The Vanquishers next to New Earth, and it's, like, that doesn't make sense, does it? But, I mean, that's part of the process. I don't know. Maybe I'll bump up New Earth to middling, actually. It's one of those meh episodes that just is, like, whatever. But I guess I can't put it in outright bad, can I? Especially when that category is going to be reserved for a lot of Series 11, 12, 13, and the 2022 specials. Tooth and Claw. Again, I think this is better than New Earth, but I don't think it's great. You know what? This is the first time I think we need to pop in a new category. Okay, I think I've moved it. So I've added a good tier, and I've taken the End of the World and I've put it in good instead of in great. And I think this is going to help us out. This is going to help us out in the long term, I'm telling you now. And something's not right here. There we go, that's better. Okay, fix the colors. Tooth and Claw, let's put it in good. It's a good episode. I like the werewolf, I like the myths, I like that the Doctor calls himself Jamie McCrimmon, I like that he does his Scottish accent, that's very fun. I like that Rose and the Doctor are just having a really good time in this episode. I like that it starts Torchwood. I like Queen Victoria. I like the episode, but it's not anything too special. Some of it drags on a little bit. So, good episode. Good. School Reunion. Great. Great episode. Bloody great episode. K9 returns. More importantly, Sarah Jane returns. The interactions between the Doctor and Sarah Jane are done so well. It's tremendous. I think that David Tennant does such a good job of, like, capturing the Doctor and the essence of what the Doctor is in a way that it just feels like Sarah Jane and the Doctor again. It doesn't feel like, you know, Sarah Jane and David Tennant or a different character. It feels like the same character. and it's this recognition, and I think that's so good. I think it's something that you don't get when you look at the 13th Doctor reuniting with Ace and Tegan. It feels like the 13th Doctor reuniting with Ace and Tegan, which is why in that episode, in the Power of the Doctor, and we'll talk about that a bit more when we get to it, but it's why in that episode they had to have, and part of it is the fan service aspect of it, you had to have Sylvester McCoy come back to talk to Ace. You had to have Peter Davison come back to speak with Tegan, because you couldn't have the 13th Doctor do those moments, because Jodie, it's not really her fault, but Jodie does not embody the Doctor in the same way that David Tennant managed to do it. Like, you didn't have to get a hologram of Tom Baker to speak with Elizabeth Sladen to have that emotional impact. David Tennant could do it, because he's got a great performance. It's got that quality of writing. It's overseen by Russell T Davies. It ends up, you don't need Tom Baker in that scene for it to feel like the Doctor and Sarah Jane again. You capture that with this new incarnation. You don't have to be like, oh, look, it's a face you remember. This is the thing you remember. Like, no, it's the thing I remember, but it's in this new form, and it's just translated so well. And I think just a terrific, terrific episode. Especially now that, we've lost Elizabeth Sladen. It's an episode that hits even more when you see them reunite, and at the end of the episode when they say goodbye, even though, she shows up again. She had her own show, which is, really fun. But there's something about School Reunion that just hits right. It's very, very good. Girl in the Fireplace, God tier episode. That is a God tier episode. What an episode. It's another one of those Moffat episodes that he wrote the best stuff when he was just writing for Russell. Once he takes over, things get a bit different, but the stuff he wrote during Russell's era is phenomenal. Girl in the Fireplace, another banger God tier episode. So good. The what they do with the Doctor in this episode is just so fun. I just think it's such a sort of this sort of it's the way that Moffat writes the Doctor, but characterized by the Russell era. It allows for this very interesting perspective on the character. I feel like he's very much this heroic sort of the way that Moffat writes David Tennant's Doctor is almost this sort of James Bond-esque character, and I really, really like that, especially in Girl in the Fireplace. I think it's just something about it's quite fun. I like the horse. I like the concept of the ship, and that they're trying to repair it, thinking that this particular woman is the right, that it makes sense, and it's just this backwards line of thought, and it's just at the end it doesn't really mean anything. It's just this abstract concept, and I quite enjoy that. It's just one of those episodes that's quite different, I think, and I think that's what makes it so special. It's those episodes that stand out from the norm, and I think Girl in the Fireplace is a great example of that. Rise of Cyberman and Age of Steel. I'm not sure whether people like this one or not. I'd honestly go as far as to say this episode's bad. That might be a hot take, but let me explain why. I think it's written really, really poorly. I think that a lot of it doesn't make any sense. A lot of these there's a lot of moments that feel a bit out of character. You've got this moment where the Doctor, and it makes sense to an extent. He's trying to save Rose, but the Cybermen are inside the building, and Rose is no, we've got to go in and save my mum. And the Doctor's she's not your mother. It's no, but she is a woman that is alive though. You're gonna leave them? I guess. I mean, I guess you want to save Rose, but really? Okay. I guess you're gonna do that. And then there's another moment right at the end where Rose and her dad from the parallel world go into this Cyberman factory, and the Doctor just doesn't even try and stop her. He just says something I'm not going to be able to stop you, am I? And she's no. And then she just does it, but their plan was to do what? Walk in the front door and then what? Find Jackie? But how? They don't even try. They accidentally bump into her. They don't try to find her. They are literally going to get converted. It was a terrible fucking plan, and nobody questioned it. Not even the Doctor questioned it. It just happens, and they let it happen so that they can coincidentally bump into Jackie as a Cyberman, and then it can conveniently push them into the end of the episode. And there's also another bit where Mickey's oh, I learned how to fly this by playing PlayStation. It's okay, yeah, that's funny, but how did you actually learn how to fly a blimp from a parallel universe? That's not a skill you should have. And for a show that usually takes its characters and their traits very seriously, I feel this episode just decides characters can just do things, and I just find that kind of dumb. And also, how does the phone getting a text and then the Doctor puts it in a conveniently placed phone holder that when you plug it in, it transmits the code, which automatically does the thing. Like, that seems like such a weird system that conveniently exists to have that cool moment where the Doctor puts the phone in the thing. But, like, why does the phone thing exist? I don't know. It just feels like an episode that doesn't explain its stuff very well. It's just a bit silly, so... Bad! Alright? I'm sorry if you like that one. The Impossible Planet and the Satan Pit, I'd put that in fantastic. I was thinking about God's here, but I think we'll put it in fantastic because I think it's an episode where some things are left a bit, like, unanswered. Like, you've got, you know, I feel like the episode kind of just implies that, yeah, the Ood are, like, a slave race, but, like, they're not, though, are they? Like, and, you know, I think they realized that they had to answer that question because they do address it a little bit later on in Planet of the Ood, which is a great episode, too. But in this episode, contained to this episode, it's a bit weird that there is just a slave race and the Doctor just goes, yeah, they're slaves. And it's like, what? Are they? Are you sure? You're not gonna question that anymore. They are slaves? Alright, that's fine. That's good. They also, all of you die too. And that's like kind of sad, and I feel like the Doctor should have tried a little bit harder. But I really like all the characters on the space station. I think they're all really compelling. I think there's some parts of it that are terrifying, like, you know, the voice calling to Toby and stuff. I fucking love that. The concept of the devil is really, really, really good, and I love like the campy ending where the Doctor saves everybody. You know, he's like, if I believe in one thing, I believe in her. It's like, that's, you know, it's kind of camp, but I love it. I think it's really fun. Yeah, I just overall think it's like just like a really good episode, and I don't think that's a hot take. I think most people like that one, right? The Idiot's Lantern. Is this the first awful? Yeah, I think I might put that in awful. I think this episode's fucking shit. I think it's just, you know, the concept of it is like, what are we doing? You know, it's like too stupid and silly. Like people losing their faces, it looks really dumb. Rose telling the kid to go after his like homophobic dad or whatever. Because it's pretty heavily implied that like the kid is gay, right? Because he says to his dad like, oh, this is why you fought in the war, so people can live the way they want and love who they want to love. It's like, that's a weird thing to say, unless it means something. So I think that's what it's implying. And like he's clearly like, no, you gotta be a man. And it's like, fuck that guy. Like, Rose, why are you being like, oh, go after your dad? Like, it's supposed to be this mirror of like, oh, like, her dad made mistakes too when she went back and found that her dad had done things but like, Pete wasn't homophobic. Look, it doesn't matter. Look, I just think that episode sucks. Love and Monsters. I will not apologize. Look, it's an episode that the Absorbaloff is dumb. The Absorbaloff is dumb. Falling in love with the paving slab is dumb. The character work is fucking impeccable, and I love it. I love it so fucking much. The characters in this episode, they are so, so good. I fucking love Elton. I love fucking everyone in Linda. It's great. I love that so much about it. It's just such a fun, campy episode. It's just so good. I love it. I love it. I absolutely fucking love it. Is it dumb as shit? Yes, but it's great. It's a great dumb shit. It's not dumb shit. You know what I mean? It's great dumb shit, and I love Love and Monsters. I think it's fantastic. I don't, because I've not put it there. I've put it in good because, you know, there's some issues. But overall, I have fun with it. Shoot me. Don't. Fear Her. Bad. Actually, awful. Hate it. Don't really know why. It's got some fun character work in it. I like Rose and the Doctor in this one. I like that it goes to the 2012 Olympics. I like the setting that it's just on like some random, like, middle class fucking housing estate. I don't know why. Maybe it reminds me of my upbringing. But I just think it's just kind of like, the kid annoys me. I don't think the Isolus is like a compelling alien either. I think it's a bit boring. I don't think it makes sense how the drawings even work. I am still salty that they didn't get David Tennant to carry the torch in the 2012 Olympics in real life. So, fuck this episode. Let's move on. Army of Ghosts and Doomsday. I would not put it in fantastic. Let's put it in great. I think it's definitely nowhere near as good as Bad Wolf and Parting of the Ways. It has some great stuff. Obviously, you know, the beach scene with Rose and the Doctor, seeing the Cybermen and the Daleks fighting, that was, you know, always really cool. We get to see Torchwood, the London division of Torchwood. That's cool. It's a moment in Doctor Who history that is solidified for quite a while. Like, they always mention the Battle of Canary Wharf later on. I think that's really fun when things have large impacts. It's, the first time we've really seen, true loss in Doctor Who, in that, it's the Doctor losing Rose. They're separated in parallel universes, and I think that's, while it's like this happy ending in a way, that Rose is finally with her full family. It means, it's at the cost of losing the Doctor. And it's this kind of bittersweet ending where, like, yeah, it's sad, but also Rose has this thing she never had before. She has money, she has a full family, but she found purpose in the Doctor, and like that's quite sad. It's obviously the first time the Doctor says LazerzZ, which is important. And overall, just a great, I think it's just a strong, great episode. It's not fantastic, it's definitely not God tier, but it's definitely better than just good. Just like a very strong finale, I feel. The Runaway Bride, I would put in fantastic. I think that's a great episode. We have so many more to go. Oh my god, I need to hurry the fuck up. Runaway Bride's great. Catherine Tate's got a great introduction in this episode. It's very, very strong. I like the Rachnos. It's the first time we get the mention of Gallifrey, and I think that plays into the Doctor being the last of the Time Lords. It also explores what the Doctor is like when he loses someone and is on his own. Like, he needs someone to stop him. He needs someone to control him. Control him? Not control him. That's not what I meant. I just want to gaslight him. I just think overall, like, it's just a really, really fun episode. It deals with the fallout of the Battle of Canary Wharf. It deals with the fallout of losing Rose. It deals more with the last of the Time Lords and the Time War. And I think it's just really, really good. I love the Runaway Bride. Smith and Jones, another fantastic episode. I think Jaduna, great. I love the concept of it being like taken to the moon, and like the whole like the plasmavore, I think, is just really just like a really fun concept, like, disguising herself as humans by assimilating their blood and stuff. I think that's really cool. Introduction of Martha Jones, she is so great. I fucking love Martha so much, and her relationship with the 10th Doctor is just really, really good. I enjoy that dynamic quite a bit. I like that she, takes the initiative, and the Doctor sees that in her, and it's just like this. It's just like a really, really good relationship. I really, really enjoy that between them. And yeah, Smith and Jones is a banger. I fucking love it. The Shakespeare Code, we're gonna put it in middling. I do enjoy it, but also it's a bit goofy, and they save the world by quoting J.K. Rowling, which takes it down at least one peg, because it was a bit jarring when Martha said, fuck trans people. I did think that was a bit odd. But overall, like, a fun time, I think. I like the design of the witches. I think they're quite... They used to scare the shit out of me as a kid. I like that it introduces Queen Elizabeth I, and she clearly has history with the Doctor, and that's explained later on. Sort of. I don't really know I don't know what the plan was they had the whole time. Obviously Moffat's the one to like really explore that in Day of the Doctor. I mean, they set it up in End of Time Part 1, but it's fun when when the Doctor meets people out of order, and I think that I like that with Queen Elizabeth I. Overall though, not a lot happens, and it's just kind of like very fine, I feel. Gridlock, fantastic. I love Gridlock. I don't think Gridlock gets enough credit for what it does. I think it's a beautiful episode. I think the themes in it are just very, very strong. I think the side characters and supporting characters that exist in this episode are really good. I think it's a very, very good episode for the Doctor and Martha and their dynamic and the way that they view each other and the way that they trust each other. I like this idea that the Doctor is lying to Martha, that, he doesn't want to tell her, like he did with Rose right away, that his planet's gone. He, enjoys this idea that the Time Lords still exist and Gallifrey still exists, and he didn't do what he did, and he's not alone anymore. We get reintroduced to the face of Bo again for the third time. That's quite cool. And overall, I just think it's a really nice episode. Just like I said, really nice themes. I think Gridlock's very strong. Daleks in Manhattan, Evolution of the Daleks. Fuck, this middling. Look, this episode has some pacing issues for sure. Some issues with like some of the writing and aspects of it. I think the human Dalek is like fine, although it is kind of goofy. The pig slaves are a bit dumb. Their whole plan is like kind of stupid. I don't know if it's like, I just don't really care about it. I just feel like it doesn't really, it's one of those plans where like Yeah, it's kind of sinister, but also like a bit too like we know that there's no way they're gonna succeed with what they want to do because it's so ridiculous. I think that the nuances of it is cool, and I like this idea that the Daleks look at other races and it's like, how do they survive? Well, it's by not doing what we're doing, which is slaughtering everyone and, you know, being, you know, space fascists, which is no different from just being they're just fascists. And I like that aspect of it, and the Doctor helping Dalek Sec and stuff, and that's quite cool. But other than that, I don't think it needed to be 2 parts, and I think there's so much of this episode that's just like, whatever. It's just like, yeah, it can be fun, but it's like, you know, yeah, you know, whatever. The LazerzZ experiment, I think I throw this in bad. It's yeah, look, it just doesn't do anything for me. It's nice to see Martha's family, I guess, but like, it's, you know, it's not like a Aliens of London World War III where like it really delves into that aspect. Like, it's just kind of like, it's a Mark Hess episode. And obviously he's in it too, because he obviously is. 42, awful. Just fuck that whole episode. Just dumb. Everything about it's dumb episode. A boring, stupid concept. Yeah, look, it's Chibnall. Yeah, it's bad. Human Nature, Family of Blood, God tier. Definitely God tier episode. Fantastic. Just so good. It's in the running, definitely, for my favorite episode of Doctor Who of all time. I love this episode so much. I think it just delves into so much without needing to say a lot to get there. I love it so much. Like, it really critiques the way that the Doctor has treated Martha over the course of this series. I think it really delves into that whole aspect of, like, he kind of has treated her like shit. And, like, you know, you get these scenes where, like, you know, she's in the TARDIS watching his messages back, and she's like, why didn't you say anything about this? Why didn't you help me with this? Like, and he chose, like, a fucking time period where she's going to be racially discriminated against, and, like, a lot of people say, like, no, that's not the point, it's just, you know, the whole episode is just racist. It's like, no, they chose that on purpose. They didn't just want to be racist. They chose it, and they chose a time period for this episode that would have racial implications for Martha, because it then implies a lot about the Doctor's mindset when doing this, and it also sort of mirrors their relationship in that Martha always gets the short end of the stick. The Doctor doesn't really consider her feelings or who she is, and doesn't really care about her as much as he probably should, which obviously then plays into her exit at the end of this episode, end of the series too. The whole, like, idea of who the Doctor would be as a human, and, like, John Smith's characterization, I think, is just done so well, and, like, the nuance is there as well. There's so much nuance in this. There's just so much nuance in this that shows that, like, the flaws and the faults of human beings, and I think that's so good, especially for an episode called Human Nature. I think it's just really, really, really good. You know, I think it's kind of crazy that some of the people I've seen on Twitter accusing this episode of being just, like, outright racist and bad, like it's trying to make you care for Nurse Redburn, even though, like, she is, like, racist. It's like, yeah, of course she's racist. She's from a time where everyone was. That's just what people were like. We can't condemn people for being from a time period where that was the norm. It doesn't make it okay, but it doesn't make them outright completely bad people. They didn't think they were wrong, you know? It just was the norm. And that's not a good thing from today's standpoint, but we can't critique people from all the way back then on today's standards. And I think seeing that nuance of, like, you know, she is clearly, like, you know, she has a lot of like internalized misogyny, in that she doesn't believe that, like, women should be able to be doctors. And then also she's got the racism aspect where, like, she genuinely believes Martha is below her, but it's never shown as, like, a good thing. It's always shown as a bad thing. It's always shown that that's a flaw, and even she sort of recognizes it as she's saying it too. It's almost like this defense mechanism that she just, like, switches to, and it's like, I just love the nuance of these characters, because they're characters. They feel like real people plucked from this time period, and I love that so much. And obviously you've got the moment where the Doctor finally comes back. There's just such a satisfying moment, and this exploration of who he is and why he decided to do what he did with the Family of Blood, and just so good. Just a brilliant 2-part. Absolute god tier. Blink, again, god tier. What an episode. What an episode. Another Moffat standout that, again, goes into god tier. Every single episode that Moffat writes during the RTD run ends up being god tier, because they're so good. I love that this is an episode that doesn't have a lot of the Doctor. The whole aspect that he's leaving messages through DVD Easter eggs is so fucking fun, especially when it came out in 2007. Like, the idea of like Easter eggs and secrets and stuff, and like was even more like special because the internet was sort of, you know, still relatively in its infancy back in 2007. It wasn't like where it is now. And so there was that fun thing of like, you know, discussing on forums and stuff that's like played into. I think Sally is a great character. I think the way she's written is just, I love her so much. She's really compelling. The angels themselves are terrifying and remain one of, if not the most terrifying Doctor Who villain of all time. Just absolutely fucking brilliant. Another one of those villains that Moffat just comes up with that's just so strong. The whole idea of them too, like sending people back in time to like live off their like potential, you know, life potential and stuff. I think that's really cool. And it just allows for like some, you know, wibbly wobbly stuff when it comes to time travel that, you know, we don't normally see in a normal episode of Doctor Who, especially with the Doctor and Martha being trapped too. So overall, yeah, God tier, really good. Utopia, The Sound of Drums, and The Last of the Time Lords all together is one thing. I reckon I'd throw that in Fantastic. I really, really, really like that. I think it's a very strong finale. I think the Master, his introduction, or reintroduction, should I say, to Doctor Who, is really good. I think Professor Yana was like such a good idea, using the fob watch from human nature, you know, that concept, to then, you know, add that tension to a scene. I just think is really good. It's one of those things that just ties the whole series together, so it's not just like individual episodes. It's like there's this through line clearly there. I think I love Martha stepping up, and the way that she ends up defeating the Master I think is just really, really good. Like tricking him, using his hubris against him. I think that's really good. There's parts of this episode that aren't paced that well. I think like probably like there's a lot in the final episode that's maybe a bit drawn out, but you know, there's other stuff that I like. Captain Jack comes back, and I really like, you know, his reintroduction as well. The talk about Torchwood and stuff, and like, you know, where he's been in the time away, and like, you know, obviously, you know, linking to that spin-off show. And obviously Martha's exit as well is really good. And I love the way her family plays into the story too. Like, there's real stakes here, like real stakes. I love the way they're like fugitives and on the run, and the Master is like dominating the world. I think it's just like really, really good. I really enjoy that aspect of it. And I think it's just like overall just a really fun 3-part story. I think really, really good. Alright, Voyage of the Damned. Another strong Christmas episode with a really nice supporting cast and a lot of fun. I put this in great. I think this is a great episode. I think it's very good. I think there's some parts of it that maybe drag a little bit. I don't know if I'm a huge fan of the ending with Astrid. And some bits are a bit silly. Like she could have jumped out of the forklift like before it went off the edge. I feel like she'd already put her foot down. Like she hits the thing, like it's got like just jump out. Like it's not moving that quick, but it's moving quick enough. Like you probably help her. It doesn't matter, but like, you know. And there's obviously like the weird, like, I don't know, like Jesus symbolism with the Doctor and the angels. That's like a bit weird. I don't know if this whether it was intentional, but like it's there. So it's like, you know, it's fun. I really like it. And I like, you know, the whole Titanic aspect. You know, I like that the Doctor meets someone called Alonzo. That's cool. So we can say the thing. You got the moment where he's like, oh, I'm the Doctor. I'm bloody 900 years old. I'm going to save everyone. Sick scene. Good scene. Like that a lot. Very good. Good. I like Voyage of the Damned. It's great. It's also got nice vibes too. Partners in Crime. That's fantastic. What a great episode. Just really, really good. Great character stuff. Just like really fun. Reintroduces Donna in a great way. I like the adipose. They're very cute. I think it's just like really good. Just really good. I love this one. I think it is fantastic. I think there's no complaints, and just like overall just like fun. I think it's paced really, really well. It's just a great episode. Fires of Pompeii. Another fantastic episode. Fires of Pompeii. I love Fires of Pompeii. What a great episode. I just really, really enjoy it so much. I like the idea that, you know, the Doctor sometimes, you know, by trying to stop something makes it happen. I think that's like really, really good. And like, again, it almost mirrors the Time War again. And I think like that's really interesting. I like that aspect of it. And I think, you know, again, that comes back around again in like, The Waters of Mars. Yeah, really good episode. And obviously Peter Capaldi's in this, and that's really fun too. So overall really strong. And I love that, like the family and stuff. I love the whole like Donna being like, no, you need to save someone. I like that Donna is not like, it's already, you know, we're only 2 episodes in, and already there is like some really big conflict between the Doctor and Donna. Like, she's not just going to go along with this and listen to what the Doctor has to say. She's going to stand up for what she believes is right and fight him on this. And I really like that about it. And I think, you know, it tears her character away from both Martha and Rose in a really nice way. Planet of the Ood, I would go great for this one. I don't think it's fantastic because I think some bits are a bit dragged down, like a little, like parts of it can feel a bit boring and like stagnant, but I like the overall message. I like that it tries to course correct what happened in the Impossible Planet and the Satan Pit with the Ood, that no, they're not actually a slave race, and the Doctor finally gets to delve into that and show his care, and like it's this moment for Donna where like she's seeing this much darker side of the universe and of humanity in general, and I think like that's quite a poignant moment, and obviously the Ood end up being quite important for series 4 moving forward, so that's like obviously another part of this that I think is like, you know, major, and I just think overall Planet of the Ood is like a really fun episode, and that guy turns into an Ood. He pulls his scalp off and there's another scalp. It's an Ood scalp. That's fun too. I like that. And the brain CGI is funny. Anyway, that's a great episode. The Sontaran Stratagem and Poison Sky, I'd say it's good. Because it's got good character work and there's like good themes there, but overall the episode, like, it did not need to be 2 parts. It is way too long. The reintroduction unit's cool. I love that Martha comes back. It's all like really cool, and I think that's why I put it in good. But I just think overall the episode's just quite weak and meandering and a little bit boring in places. And I think, like, you know, it suffers for that. But, you know, there's some great stuff. Like, we get to meet Donna's family again. Wilfred shows up again. It's this moment where the Doctor realizes, oh, you're related. That's fun. So yeah, that's just it's a good one. It's just good. It's good. The Doctor's daughter, I put this in great. I think it's a really great episode. I think Jenny's really good. I think it's a very interesting character. Obviously you got the, you know, I never would speech, which is very good. It's a great moment that just, like, you know, perfectly encapsulates the Doctor's, you know, views on violence and stuff. I think it's just really, really good. You got Donna taking the initiative. Like, I really like something in the RTD that I've not really talked about, is that who the characters are plays into what they can do a lot of the time. Like, Martha is always she's a doctor, so she's always doing those things, like caring for people and making sure everyone's safe, and like she's able to like help people if they're injured and stuff. And, you know, Donna is very good with numbers and like noting things down and stuff like that, and this episode is a big part of that, and like it plays into that overall story, which I think is interesting. I really like that, like, you know, it just sort of being this, you know, twisted history that's like passed down through these generations that are very quickly, you know, sort of created, which I just think is really interesting as a concept. I think it's really fun, and I think that makes the episode quite strong. And I also really like Martha's Hath friend. I think he's cool, and I'm sad that he died. But, you know, you can't have it all, can you? The Unicorn and the Wasp, I'd say that's another great episode. You know, some of it's a bit, I don't know, like the priest turning into the wasp and doing the, like, zzz thing is a bit cringe. It's like a maybe where Doctor Who pushes the campness a little bit too far for me into territory that just comes off a bit cringe and stupid. But overall, it's fun, and, like, I like that it's, like, this idea of, like, you know, Agatha Christie's life becomes, like, one of her books for a bit, and it's because of, like, this psychic link and stuff, and I think that's, like, quite fun and quite good. And I think that the Doctor and, like, Donna are just having, like, a great time during this episode, and I think, like, that's quite a highlight of it, so it's great. Silence in the Library, Forest of the Dead, another God tier Moffat episode, once again, just tremendous all round. There's too much in this episode for me to go in deep and examine all of it and talk about all of it, because we'd be here literally all day. But again, another iconic villain that only shows up once, but is terrifying, interesting, nuanced, great stuff. The introduction of River Song, which I love River Song. I think River Song is very good as a character. I just love her whole mythos and what she is and what she represents and stuff. But this episode in particular is really, really good for that, because it's the first time that the Doctor ever meets her, but it's the last time that she ever meets the Doctor. And I just think, like, that is, to me, I think that's the best story we've ever had for River Song, because, you know, you had to do the rest. You had to, at some point, do the rest and fill in those blanks and fill in those gaps and have it go reversed and have it be the other way around. You had to do that at some point. This, I feel, is the best story of that, because it's just that the way that she, like, her performance is terrific. You know, Tennant's performance is terrific here. Like, his cluelessness and, like, the way that she looks at him, and there's all this history there that she knows about, but he can't, like, he doesn't know yet. It's just, it's just so good. It's so good. And I think also with the Moffat era, having that knowledge too and going back to this, I think it gives it more depth. I think there's a bit more to it, like knowing her relationship with the Doctor is, you know, really good, and like knowing, you know, the way, like in The Husbands of River Song and the ending of that episode, and how that, you know, ends up and stuff, and getting to see that happen, and it's just really good. Such a good episode. You got the stuff with Donna in the little, like, other reality she's in that's really fun, and just, It's so good. It's so fucking good. I think this might be the best. This might be the best Moffat RTD era episode potentially for me. I love it. I really, really love it. Midnight, another S tier, God tier episode. Fucking Midnight, amazing. And this one is, it's just set inside of a bus, basically. It's just set inside of a bus with regular humans and the Doctor, and the way that they just this descent into madness of everyone turning on each other, and the Doctor trying to keep everyone, he's trying to command the room like he always does, but he's losing control, and I think that's so interesting, and the whole allegory it's trying to do, and the themes and everything. It's just such a strong episode. It's just such a strong episode, and the characters are great, and I love the way they're written, and the way that they act and the nuances of these humans. It's just so real, and it's just done so well in such a way that's great, and it's also terrifying too, which is just another layer to it. Just absolute god tier episode. Midnight. Turn Left, another god tier episode. Series 4 has so many of these, man. So many god tier episodes. It's fucking crazy. Yeah, absolutely great. Turn Left. Fucking Turn Left. What an episode of Doctor Who. It's another one of those ones that just is outside the bounds of what's normal for the show, but in a way that just is so Doctor Who at the same time. You got obviously Rose comes back. She's characterized so wonderfully. She feels like Rose, yet also you can see those hints of the Doctor in there. She's really laid into that part of herself, and I think that's really, really compelling. And you obviously got, this alternate reality Donna and her learning who she's supposed to be, and trying to correct things. And you get to see this what if scenario of what if the Doctor had died during the Runaway Bride? What would have happened to the world, and what would have happened to Earth? And I love that about it. If the Doctor wasn't around, what would happen? And I just think it's really good, and it's dark in a lot of places, and it really plays into those character moments and stuff, and there's just so many little emotional sections, and it's just overall really good. And obviously the fucking ending with Bad Wolf and the Doctor realizing that Rose is coming back and everything. It's just I vividly remember watching Turn Left when it came out in 2008. I vividly remember watching as a kid, and just I was just blown away by it. It's one of my favorite episodes as a kid, and it grows, and I love it even more over time. Stolen Earth and Journey's End. This is a difficult one for me, because I think a lot of this episode is great, and there's so many good things, and this is the Infinity War end game before it happened sort of thing, where you got this culmination of all of the spin-off shows and all of the characters we've seen across Doctor Who coming together, and that aspect of it is fantastic. But I also think there's aspects of it that kind of drag it down. A lot of it is just the Doctor standing in a room talking to Davros, and I think Davros doesn't get a lot to do. I don't think much, not a lot happens almost. It's a lot of standing around and talking with not a lot actually happening. I think Stolen Earth is better than Journey's End, probably. But then Journey's End does have some really nice major moments with all of them, in the TARDIS and stuff. It's difficult because it is... I think I'd put it in fantastic. I think I would put it in fantastic. I was thinking of putting it down to great, but no, I do think it is fantastic. There's enough in here that I think is really, really good. I don't think there's enough bad parts or mediocre parts to drag it down. So, I think I'd throw Stolen Earth Journey's End in fantastic for sure. The next Doctor, I put this probably in good. I think a lot of people don't necessarily like it, but I really like it as just... I don't know, I like the fact that, this dude... Jackson Lake lost his memory and he latched on to being the Doctor out of trauma. I think that's just a really nice theme for the episode. And I like that the Doctor helps him to find himself again and to find happiness, and he finds his son, and I like that the Doctor gets thanked at the end and stuff. That's really nice. There's this, of all this time the Doctor does stuff, and no one ever really says thank you. You get this moment, and it just feels it's just nice. It makes you feel good, and it's very Christmassy, and it's nice. And the Cybermen are very whatever in this episode, and the concept is a bit weird, and the main villain is a bit strange, and all of that stuff's not great. It's just kind of whatever. But I like the character stuff, and I think that stuff holds this episode up quite nicely in a way that's just very wholesome. It's just a very wholesome episode, and I think it works very well as a Christmassy one. It might be the most Christmassy one of the RTD era, to be honest. Just in the way that it just is. I don't know why. Something about it just feels very Christmassy to me. I don't know. I like it a lot. And I think it's pretty decently good. Planet of the Dead, I would probably throw a middling There's some stuff in here that I really do like. I think Christina's really good. And I like the little fly alien guys. I think they're fun. You know, there's definitely some good stuff in here. And I remember it, watching it as a kid and enjoying it. But every time I watch it now, I kind of just feel like, yeah, this is alright. It's fine. It's just sort of fine. I really like all of the... there's like, I think the reason I wouldn't put it straight down in, like, bad or whatever, and it's just sort of middling, and I might even push it up to good, but probably not. It's just that one scene in the bus where the Doctor just, like, asks everyone what they were doing and where they were going when they got on the bus. And it's another one of those moments for me that I love about RTD Doctor Who, that is, like, where the Doctor's just really, like, appreciative of humanity. And it just makes it's these kind of moments that I think make you think, like, you just sort of start to feel grateful for your life in general. I feel it's just like just little things. It's just like you start to think, like, yeah, the little things are worth appreciating. Like, and I think RTD does a really good job of making you feel that through the Doctor's eyes. That's probably, yeah, but the rest of the episode's like, whatever. The Waters of Mars, another god tier. Another god tier. The final god tier for the RTD era, before, of course, we get RTD2. There could be some more god tiers in that era once that comes around. But the final god tier for RTD we got here. I've already been recording for an hour and a half. This is going to be a long video. Hopefully people just listen to this as a podcast. But it's fine. The Waters of Mars, god tier episode. What a fucking episode. The way it plays on this idea of, like, the Doctor being on his own and what happens to him when he doesn't have a friend with him. Like, the fact that the Doctor thrives on being around people and having connections with people. Like, he genuinely, like, you know, believes that he's better off alone after losing Donna. And the culmination of that is the Waters of Mars. And the fact that he becomes the thing that he hated about, you know, almost about the Time Lords. He became, like, vengeful. He became, you know, arrogant. And that all culminates, you know, in what he does with these characters on this base on Mars. I love that. And what I really like about this is the episode isn't about what's going to happen. The episode right at the beginning establishes who these people are and how they die. The episode is about what the Doctor is going to do with that information, and the tension comes from, like, is he going to change it? Should he change it? Is he going to let it happen? And that tension rises and rises and rises over the course of the episode. Obviously, like, the monsters in this episode are also really, really cool. I like that. The way it's, like, it plays off of the Ice Warriors too, like, with the, you know, the you know, being on Mars and stuff, and, like, the ice that they found and everything, and, like, there's sort of that connection there. But also the fact that they're just terrifying. They're just fucking terrifying. And I really, really like their design. And obviously, yeah, just brilliant. The Time Lord Victoria stuff is just so great, and just, like, oh, just the perfect way to sort of cap off, before you move into the end of time, the arc that this Doctor has been on since the beginning of Series 1, being the last of the Time Lords after what happened during the Time War. And you've got, you know, he finally sort of, like, this episode is like this moment where it sort of solidifies who he is because of that, why he should never do what he did in this episode ever again, and that then takes us into the end of time. The end of time itself, I don't know whether this is a hot take. Oh, I think I just put it in great. Not fantastic, just great. And I think I would do that because there's a lot of dithering, I feel, in this. Like, a lot of just sort of things just not happening. You've got, like, this fucking random guy, like this guy, like, with the king or whatever, that, like, who the fuck is this? I literally don't care. Like, who is he? What a weird character introduction. The Master is, like, good, but I don't think he's, like, as good as he was in the Series 3 finale. Although there's some great moments, like when he helps the Doctor at the end. I like the reintroduction of the Time Lords. You know, I like that we get to see Rassilon. I like that, you know, we get to see, you know, them come back for a brief moment. But it's like, you know, the whole thing is solved by, or the Doctor destroys a machine, and then the whole thing is fixed. It's like, that is a really, really easy fix that just happens, like, you know, like that. And then the Master's gone too. You know, everyone goes back to normal. Well, the Rassilon turns them back to normal. And it's just kind of like, everything gets resolved a bit too quick. Like, the whole plot and the stakes of the episode are just kind of, like, dropped immediately when the story needs it to be. But there's some great character stuff. Like, Wilfred is brilliant in this. You know, you get to see Donna again. There's some great moments that just, like, have you tearing up. Like, you got the scene in the cafe with Wilf and the Doctor. Like, that is such a good moment. You got the scene on the spaceship deck. which is another brilliant moment. You got this like constant like recurring theme of like Wilfred and his time in the war. And that is really, really compelling, and it's a regeneration story, and it's the, how we lose the 10th Doctor, and you've got, the whole he will knock 4 times and that being flipped on its head, and like it's actually Wilf, and like the final act of the 10th Doctor is just saving it's not this big bombastic crazy way to go out, it's not fighting a million Daleks, it's not battling the Master, it's none of that. The way that we lose the 10th Doctor is that he just wants to save a regular, ordinary old man that he cares for and believes deserves saving. And it's the most Doctor act you can have, and I think it's the perfect way for especially this incarnation to go out. An incarnation that's incredibly vain and incredibly conceited at times, and sometimes self-absorbed, arrogant. For him to go out just saving, not doing anything crazy, not doing anything, hugely, like, it's not, it's not this big, huge act. It's just saving one guy. And I think that's beautiful and poignant. And obviously we get to see him go back and visit all his companions, and that's really nice. And, the regeneration scene is moving. It's, it is great. It is great. But I think it has a lot of aspects to it that sort of pull it down, even though there's a lot of strengths there too. Whoo! Just over an hour and a half, and we're moving into the Moffat era. This is, wow. The 11th Hour. I don't think this is a God tier episode, but I do think it's fantastic. If I could, I'd put it between fantastic and God tier in its own little 11th Hour category. I think it's the best introduction to a new Doctor we've ever had. I think it's a fantastic story in its own right. It establishes this era, it establishes this Doctor, it establishes Amy, Rory, it establishes, what Moffat wants to do, what his particular, like, what his theming is. It establishes overarching stuff. It just is really good. It's paced terrifically, and it leads us into this brand new Doctor. This take on the Doctor, the 11th Doctor, and his final moment where with the Atraxi is, I love it. I think it's really good. I love his outfit. I love his TARDIS. I love the new music they use, and the whole fairy tale aspect of like Amy Pond and the Doctor, like the Raggedy Doctor. It's so good. I love the 11th Hour. I think it's a tremendous episode, and it's such a great start to what I think is a really good overall series in Series 5. The Beast Below, I put this in fantastic as well. I think a lot of people don't give this episode enough credit. I really, really do. I really love this. I think the setting is so cool and inventive. I love the idea of like this spaceship that just is the whole of Britain put into a spaceship and drifting through space. I love the Star Whale and that whole, like, the theme there and the metaphor they're like, it's so good. And then the way that then it is used to characterize Amy very strongly shows what she would do in a moment of crisis when she believes something is the right thing to do. I think that's really, really good in the way she goes against the Doctor in that moment, and the Doctor is like, you couldn't have known, and she's like, no, I could. And it's like, because it's this mirror image of the Doctor, and it's one of the only times that Moffat lays into the Doctor being the last of the Time Lords, because it's something that is dropped quite early on in the Moffat era, because it was something that, it was the whole of the Davies era was the Doctor being the last of the Time Lords, and Moffat doesn't really play into that, and that's totally fine. That is totally fine. I feel like that was capped off quite well in End of Time, but I like that it's played into again for, in The Beast Below, and I just think it's like really, really, really strong episode. I also think like those things in the booths are fucking terrifying, and I think they're really cool. Like, I think they're underrated Moffat like monsters in that, like, they're really scary, and I like that about them. I really do. And there's also that moment that I think is really good, that's very Doctor-y, and again establishes the Doctor and also Amy as well, in that where, she's like, you never interfere with anything unless there's children crying, and the Doctor's like, yes. And it's like, that's just really nice, just a really nice Doctor moment, I feel. And I enjoy The Beast Below. Victory of the Daleks. I'd say this is middling. I'd say it's a middling episode. I think it's been long enough that we don't need to cry about the Paradigm Daleks anymore. However, I will say they are ugly. The design, not as much as like just the color scheme, I think is the worst part about them. But I like the idea of the paradigm. I like the idea that the Daleks are trying to, you know, create a new and pure version of the Daleks and move forward and stuff. And I think that's interesting. I don't like that it was just dropped out of nowhere just because people didn't like the design. I think you could have done something more with that whole storyline, because they just revert back to, nope, the gold Daleks, we just pretend this didn't happen. It's like, I thought it was like a fun idea. I don't love that, like, the Doctor is, like, mates with, like, Winston Churchill. Like, I get, you know, he's like a pillar of British history and stuff, but, like, when you look at the things that he did in history, yeah, he did a lot of good things too, and yes, he was a great leader during war times. He also did things too that the Doctor would condemn 100%, and I just don't feel like that's good. I feel like the Doctor can only really be friends with politicians that, like, are fictional, like Harriet Jones, and even then it critiques them, and when she does something bad, the Doctor just cuts her off and is like, no, fuck you, that's wrong and that's bad. Whereas he's like close mates with Winston Churchill. Is like, I don't know, I think it's silly. Yeah, Victory of the Daleks overall, I just think it's a very middling episode. There are some nice moments, and I like it's the only time really we get to see a confrontation between Matt Smith's Doctor and the Daleks. I feel like it's not ever something that Moffat plays into. We don't really get to see that confrontation between 11 and 12 and the Daleks. I feel like we don't ever really get to see that, and we do briefly in Victory of the Daleks, which I have to appreciate. Time of Angels and Flesh and Stone. I think this is an episode that's gone down for me over the years. I would have probably put it in fantastic when it first came out, but I think now, would I put it in great or would I put it in good? I think there's aspects of both. I think based on what I've put in great, I think I put this in great. I think it's a great episode, especially for Amy. We get to see River again, and I think that's quite important, and I like the way she is in this. I like the mystery that's established. I like that it plays into the whole, you know, Matt Smith's crack coming back. I think the angels are still very scary in this. I like that moment in the caves when they realize that every single statue they've been walking past has been an angel. I think that's really good. I like the voiceover from like Angel Bob on the communicator thing. I think that's like really chilling. Yeah, overall pretty good, although I think some of the pacing is a bit off. I do think it maybe relies a bit too heavily on, oh, what's the crack? I also think Amy, like, pretending she can see is absolutely fucking stupid. And also, I don't like that the angels just snap people's necks now. I think it's actually kind of more scary that they zap you back in time, because that's like, it's like this inescapable prison, like being sent back in time. Whereas, you know, in this, they just snap your neck and then steal your voice, and it's like, I don't think that's quite scary. Vampires of Venice, I think that's good. I think it's like a good episode. I feel like people don't like this one, I'm not sure. I think there's some good moments. Like, I like the confrontation between the Doctor and the main vampire lady. I think it's a great episode for Rory, you know, finally being a part of this and, like, you know, showing up and having presence. And I like that. I really like Rory in this. I like Venice as a place. I like it as a setting. I'm a big sucker for, you know, Venice as a location. So maybe I'm a bit biased, but overall, pretty good. Amy's Choice. I put this in fantastic. Not quite God tier, but I do adore this episode. I think the Dream Lord is brilliant. I love that this is an episode for Amy where, like, she really realizes how much she genuinely loves Rory. I think that's really, like, a great aspect of Amy's Choice. I think it's, like, the uncertainty on a first watch that you don't know, like, which one's real, and then you realize both of them are not real, and, like, that's quite cool. Overall, yeah, Amy's Choice, love it. Really great one. The Hungry Earth and Cold Blood, fucking, that's awful. Fucking just awful. I will not elaborate. It's awful. Vincent and the Doctor, I would put it in God tier. I would, but I'm going to put it in fantastic. And the reason being, the episodes that I've got in God tier are near perfect. Vincent and the Doctor would only go in God tier for the theming of Vincent himself and the final scene of the episode. Like, that final scene is God tier, but everything else is, like, not as good, you know? Like, the main villain, like, the main monster, I get it. I get what they're doing there. Like, you know, using the depression and mental health to, like, you know, it's these things that only Vincent could see, and that goes for the positives and the negatives. It's like he was fighting this depression completely alone and on his own, and no one else could, you know, help him. The Doctor and Amy could, because they could see it, because they understand, but, like, you know, no one else could help him, sort of thing, and he was struggling, and that's why he ultimately, you know, took his own life. And, like, I like that aspect of it. I don't like that he took his own life. I like that aspect of it, and I think it's quite clever, but I also do think that the giant chicken thing is dumb and not I don't think that's like cool. I don't think that like an allegory for depression should be a giant chicken. You know what I mean? I feel like that's a bit silly. But other than that, you know, great. And that final scene will never not make me cry. What a scene. What a fucking scene. The Lodger, a war crime, because James Corden's in it. I don't care about anything else, alright? The episode might be quite fun. In any other circumstance, I'd say it was quite fun. But James Corden's in it. Therefore, it's a fucking war crime, alright? I don't know. No more Lodger, okay? No more James Corden. Get him out. Pandorica opens in the Big Bang. I'd throw this in fantastic, I think. I really, really like these 2 episodes. I think they're very, very strong episodes. I think the Pandorica opens does a great job of establishing the stakes, establishing the threat, and establishing what's happening, explaining things and answering questions. Then the Big Bang spends its time exploring that, and I think that's really, really cool. I love this concept of the like everyone teaming up to stop the Doctor, because he is a threat to all of these different races. Like, they put aside their differences to try and fight the Doctor. I think that's really interesting. They don't explore it in a great detail, but I think it's interesting nonetheless. I think, you know, going into, you know, what happened with Rory and the fact that he died. I never talked about that, but in the Silurian one, he obviously dies. Not just dies, gets wiped from history, but then he comes back as an Auton, and it's like, that's quite interesting. And you've got, you know, the timey-wimey stuff in the Big Bang is just, I'm a sucker for that, like, where everything's like all over the place, and like, I enjoy that. I think that's really fun. And obviously, you know, the ending scene at the wedding as well, you know, when the Doctor comes back and Amy wishes him back into existence. I just think that's really nice. I really like this 2-parter. I think it's really strong, really good. And obviously River's in it too, and that's really cool. And obviously you have the speech on, like, at Stonehenge. What a fucking scene. Just solidifies Matt Smith as, you know, I feel like, I mean, I would say his defining moment is probably the moment with the Atraxi, but if you're not going to include that, I feel like that moment is like that moment that solidifies who his Doctor is, and it's, yeah, brilliant. It's great. Moffat loves a speech, and usually they're good. A Christmas Carol. I think this episode's great. I really like Christmas Carol. I think it's really fun. I really like the whole... It's just wholesome. It's a wholesome Christmassy episode. I enjoy it. I just enjoy it. I just really do enjoy it. I think Kazran's like a nuanced character, and I enjoy that aspect to it. I like the ghost of Christmas past, present, and future sort of thing. I like, you know, Catherine Jenkins, I guess. I'm a fan of Christmas Carol. I'm a fan of A Christmas Carol. I am. I like it. It's great. The Impossible Astronaut, Day of the Moon. Now, this one's difficult because once you get to the Wedding of River song, you realize that the mystery they set up is solved in like a dumb fucking way. But the mystery itself is great, and I really do like this 2-parter. I actually really like it a lot. I'd probably put this in great, I think. I think it's really well set up and really cool. River takes center stage here. She's really great. The silence are fucking genius. I love the silence as a concept. They might not be explored in great detail moving forward, and they maybe never should have shown up again, but they're really, really, really good in this first 2-parter of Series 6. So that's really great. I think Rory, again, is great in this episode. You start to see his development carry over from the Pandorica opens in the Big Bang. You know, having this future version of the Doctor as well, and like he's knowing like he's gonna die and stuff is, yeah, really cool. And I think like overall just a very strong opener to Series 6. Curse of the Black Spot, it's bad. I just think it's bad. I don't think it's very fun at all. I genuinely don't think it's fun at all. I just think it's bad. I can't tell you much else. I think it's bad. The Doctor's Wife, I think it's great. Great episode. I really like the Doctor's Wife. I think, like, you know, having the... I don't think I liked it at first, but I think I slowly have come to like it over time. I think it's just a really fun episode, and having the TARDIS go inside of a person, I just think is like having this interaction. Makes you look at the TARDIS in a slightly different way. I think it's just an interesting concept, I feel. It's not perfect, and there's some problems, and like it's not paced great, and like, yeah, it's just kind of, some parts are a bit like, meh. But like, overall, I think it's a great episode. So, yeah, great. The Rebel Flesh and the Almost People. Awful. I really don't like this one at all. I really don't. Yeah, sorry. A Good Man Goes to War. Fantastic. I put this in fantastic. I love A Good Man Goes to War. I think this is a contentious one in the Doctor Who community, I feel. Some people think it's like really bad, I feel. Maybe not. Maybe they don't. But I love it. I think it's great. I think I've always been a bit torn on the reveal at the end, but no, I like it. I think I like it overall, River being their daughter. And, you know, I think it really shows this version of the Doctor that, you know, that River described in the library, and I like seeing that, and I like, it's not quite to the level of like Waters of Mars, where like you get to see the side of the Doctor that is then condemned, because I think this episode is a bit more, it's a bit more wishy-washy in that, like, yeah, what he does is like kind of too much, but also it doesn't really critique him in the same sense. So it's kind of loses a bit of that nuance. But I also think he's really like Matt Smith, like being angry, and like, I just think it's cool. So I can't really like, I feel like I'm biased. I just think it's cool. So yeah, Good Man Goes to War. I think it's fantastic. I really like it. Let's Kill Hitler is probably just good. I think it's like a bit of a boring episode, and like it kind of wraps up the whole Melody Pond thing pretty quickly. Like it just sort of like very quickly, like in one episode, it's like, there you go, we did it, it's done. She became River Song. She doesn't want to kill the Doctor anymore. You know, that's happened. That's fine. And obviously it sets up the Tesselector for, you know, to be used in the Wedding River Song. It's, you know, there's some parts that are like funny. Like I like that Rory punches Hitler and puts him in a cupboard. That's funny. I think Melody is like interesting too. I like it's kind of odd that it comes out of nowhere and they just go, oh yeah, we actually had this other friend that we've just never ever mentioned before. That we're actually really good friends with and like grew up with. But you know, it's fine. It's fine. Night Terrors is middling. There's some parts of it I enjoy. Like, I think I always enjoy the Doctor trying to help children, because I think I enjoy that, like, oh, adults don't get children. They don't understand. They're just like, they just write everything off like, oh, he needs professional help. And the Doctor's like, no, he's telling the truth. There is something in his closet. And it's like, I like that. I don't know. I just like it. There's something about that. But obviously, like, the episode itself is, like, kind of a bit boring. You know, it's not the worst that's come out of Doctor Who. It's just, like, very meh. The Girl Who Waited. Oh, I think I throw this in God tier. I think I would put this in God tier. I really, really like The Girl Who Waited. I think it's got really strong characterization. It's got very strong theming, and I think it's a tearjerker. It really is. I really, really like The Girl Who Waited. And it's this, like, The Girl Who Waited, like, you know, that's what she's called, like, because she waited for the Doctor, but, like, The Girl Who Waited because, like, you know, she was stuck here. Like, it's this kind of, you know, there's that, and it's also this flip on, like, you know, Rory waited for all that time as well for Amy, and it's like that, the opposite of that. And yeah, I really like this one. I really do. I think it's very, very strong. There's not much I could criticize about it. There's really not. I think that's why it's got to go in God tier. The God Complex, I think I put this in fantastic. Really good episode. I love the concept of it. I think it's one of those ones that's got a great concept. Although I do think some of the supporting characters are quite weak, which is probably why I wouldn't put it in God tier. I also think like the final, like, you know, the monster in the end and like what it is and like how that like is explained off is like a bit it's like whatever. So it probably wouldn't go in God tier for that, but I love the concept of it. I really, really do. I think it's very strong. You know, character work is really good for our main cast, and you know, them all having their rooms and stuff. Just really, really good episode. Really good. I love this. Closing Time is another war crime because they decided to bring James Corden back this time and do a haha, it's funny, everyone thinks the Doctor and James Corden are gay. Isn't that funny that they would... It's funny because they're both men, but mainly because James Corden's in it. That's why it's a war crime. The Wedding of River Song is awful. I genuinely think it's an awful episode. I'm sorry, I don't know if that's a hot take. I don't know if any of these are hot takes, so I'm just like saying what I feel and how I've always felt. But I genuinely think it's an awful episode. I think it's like the whole mystery set up by the impossible astronaut is solved like fucking that. And it's like, it was actually the Tesselector that was the Doctor. Like, fuck, how did it fake regeneration? It's stupid. It's just stupid. And I just don't vibe with it. I think it's silly. And also, Winston Churchill's back again. What the fuck? Stop bringing Winston Churchill back, for fuck's sake. The Doctor, the Widow, and the Wardrobe. Middling. I think it's middling. There's a lot of nice themes in this episode, but overall, kind of boring. So... yeah, not much more to say on that. Just middling. Asylum of the Daleks. Oh, God, we're getting into Series 7 now. This is going to be rough, isn't it? Asylum of the Daleks, middling. I don't like that the Daleks forgot the Doctor. I don't think that's funny. I say that as if, like, it was supposed to be. I just don't think it's funny, Moffat. All right? Clara's good in it, though. I suppose she's not Clara. Well, it is Clara, but, like, it's not, is it? But I like that, and then she, like, secretly twist, oh, she's actually a Dalek. Like, I like that part of it. The Paradigm Daleks are in this one. Aren't they? Oh, there he is. Yeah. The white one's here. Yeah. I was right. The Paradigm Daleks are in this one. Yeah, it's just... it's middling though, isn't it? I don't think the Daleks are very good in this. It's another one of those, Moffat uses the Daleks, but they're fucking boring for some reason, because he can't write Dalek episodes, and I don't know why. Dinosaurs on a spaceship. Absolutely awful. A Town Called Mercy. I'd say this one's good. I like A Town Called Mercy. It's not the greatest episode of all time, and it's not one of the all-time greats, but it's quite a fun episode with some nice themes. I like the character work. I just like seeing the Doctor, Amy, and Rory, and it's just quite nice. It's just quite nice. There's some nice moments in there. Overall, strong. I think it's pretty good. The Power of Three. Someone stop Chris Chibnall now before he fucking ruins everything. The Angels Take Manhattan. Great. I was thinking it wasn't good, but then I was thinking about it. I'm like, no, I think it's pretty great. I like this one. River's in it. She does a great job. It's a good send-off for Amy and Rory. I really like that. Will suspend my disbelief that the Doctor can't just go back in time and save them. You know, he's like, oh, it would rip in the fabric of space, but it's like, so you can never, you can't go back to that year ever again, or can you not go back specifically to New York? Like, you'd assume, but then can you go back to a year after they get sent back to, or a year before and wait for them, or like can you go to like New Jersey in that year and then go save like them? I don't think they had to be trapped. I really don't think they had to be trapped for this to be, you know what I mean? It's kind of stupid. I will say the Angels are scary again, very scary. I like that. Amy and Rory are brilliant. It's a really nice send-off. It's a great moment. Amy finally chooses Rory, like she already did before, but it's like this moment where she's like, no. I cannot live without Rory. I'm not doing this. I'm going back. I'm going to take my fucking chances. She could have been sent back to any time, but she goes back and is with Rory. And that's nice. That's nice. And also, I feel like propping it up is also the little PS short thing, like the little animatic that is not actually part of the episode, but like 100% probably should have been, because it's fucking beautiful. And I love that about it. So, yeah, great. The Snowmen. This one's good. This one's good. I like this version of Clara a lot, especially with 11. I like that he's like hanging about and he's skulking around. He's got a sick new outfit. He's got a nice new TARDIS. The new TARDIS is better with Capaldi though, because it makes it a bit more homey. I don't know if I love it with 11, but got a new TARDIS here. That's fun. It's like sort of a new era, and I quite like that about it. I don't think like the Great Intelligence is like that good. It's like fun to bring back an old, you know, classic Who villain, especially with 11, because he mirrors a lot of like Patrick Troughton, and I think that's like fun. But the Snowmen kind of suck and are dumb and silly. I don't think that's fun. Like, it's another one of those Moffat tries to make a monster out of something normal, like Scared of the Dark, statues, the silence, like looking away from something and forgetting it. It's like, well, snow is scary now too, but it's not, and it's dumb. Yeah, overall, like, it's, like, just pretty good. I like the banter and stuff between, you know, Victoria and Clara and the Doctor. And it sets up a fun mystery. But overall, just, like, yeah, it's just, like, it's good. It's pretty good. The Bells of St. John. Middling. It's middling. I don't love it. It's fine. It's, like, you know, this version of Clara is a little bit flat, a little bit boring compared to the one we met in The Snowman. The Doctor starts to become a bit of a caricature, I feel, and that's like a shame for a lot of Series 7. Is Series 5, the 11th Doctor, and Series 6, it's a lot more strongly characterized in him, I feel, and he's a lot more compelling. And then he sort of, over the course of Series 7, becomes this weird caricature, like, gimmick character where, like, he starts slipping out of character to make silly jokes and quips and stuff. And it's a bit like, I don't know about this one. And I think Bells of St. John, he does that quite a bit in. So it's just quite middling. Rings of Akaten, I'd say, is good, mainly for that, like, ending speech and, like, the meaning behind it and stuff. And I enjoy that, and it's a very good episode for Clara. And I like them just like exploring a planet and stuff. That's fun. It's also like a bit nothing happens in it too, and there's a lot of standing around in like a room with the guy like trying to resurrect his mate or whatever. And it's like one of those ones. It's like, it's good because there's some good stuff in there, but there's also some stuff that's like a bit whatever. Like, I just don't think this episode is as good as people say it is. There's some great stuff in here, but the episode as a whole I wouldn't say is great. So good. Cold War. This one's middling again. I feel like when something's middling, I don't have a lot to say. Like, it just is kind of middling, isn't it? Like, it's nice to see the Ice Warriors again, but it's whatever. It's kind of whatever. Hyde, I'd say Hyde's pretty good. Is it though? It's fine. It's fine. It's just fine. It's just fine. Yeah, I don't know. 200th of the TARDIS, middling. It's not bad by any means, but it's also not that good either. It's like there's some cool moments in there, but like overall, it's like, could do without. Crimson Horror, that's genuinely awful. Like actually, genuinely, that's awful. I don't like that at all. Nightmare in Silver, bad. I don't like that one either. There's some fun moments with like Matt Smith facing off against Matt Smith. That's quite fun. But other than that, like, yeah, it's also just bad and boring. The Name of the Doctor. I'd say this one's great. I really like Name of the Doctor. I think it's a fun episode. I like that the spin on the Name of the Doctor, like, you know, it doesn't mean what you think it means. And I think that's quite cool. I like that River comes back. I like that Clara's little thing is answered. And I don't even think, like, the Clara thing is that bad. Like, you know, why does she show up all the time when she jumps into the Doctor's time stream? Like, yeah. I mean, it's also dumb because it takes away all agency from the Doctor. Like, I get it. But I don't think it's bad for Clara as a character. Maybe it is because it makes it far too important to the Doctor, and like the Doctor ends up being the center of the universe for like his companions. Yeah, look, it could be better. It could be better. It could be better. It could be better. I'm gonna put it in good, actually. Name of the Doctor's like good. It's good. It's got some issues, and I think I just realized that I have more issues with it than I thought. But character work is good. I like the stuff with River. And I like the returning characters like Jenny and Vaster and Strax. That's fun. I like those guys. So, yeah, Name of the Doctor's cool. Day of the Doctor. Oh, God, this is going to be a hot take. I can feel it. This is a difficult one because there's aspects of Day of the Doctor that I love, but then there's also aspects that I fucking hate. And, like, it makes it difficult to make this, like, an equal, like, a choice, like, a balanced choice with this one. Because I hate what they do with the Time War. I fucking hate what they do with the Time War. I think the Zygon storyline is like so random and unnecessary. You've got like they just throw in like, oh, they also just do Time War things. You've got like Gallifrey is back, I guess, and like it's just like things happening. It's just like a bunch of fucking things happening. And like there's some great moments. There definitely are some great moments. I'd overall just say like it's good. Same as sort of like Name of the Doctor, I guess. Like it's just good. I really like seeing Matt Smith and David Tennant. I think John Hurt was superb. There's some great scenes in there. But overall, it's a very, like... The episode itself isn't that good. It's just like an excuse to get these three characters talking to each other. And you can clearly see that, like, John Hurt was put in because they couldn't get Christopher Eccleston back. Which, like, literally just should have been Paul McGann. I love John Hurt, like, obviously, as an actor. And I think he was really good in this. But I think just from a writing standpoint, like, I don't know why Moffat didn't just get fucking Paul McGann. Like, it also makes no sense for it to be Christopher Eccleston, the one that fought in the Time War, because in Rose, he literally looks in the mirror like he's just regenerated. So it makes, like, it should have been Paul McGann the whole time anyway. I don't know why they had to do an insert character here. Like, it literally just should have been Paul McGann. That would have been great. John Hurt does a great job, but still, Time of the Doctor, I gotta put it in great because I'm absolutely biased with this one. I cannot look at this objectively and take a step back. I simply cannot. The ending is fucking beautiful and it will always be, and I love it. And I can't take the step back and be like, oh, well, some of it's messy and some of it's stupid and like, it's not really set up and it's not paced well and like, they don't explain anything properly and all the mysteries are kind of not concluded properly. Like, true. Those things are true. But I absolutely fucking love the ending to Matt Smith's Doctor, and I think his speech is beautiful, and I think that I really like Clara in this one. I love this episode contains my favorite of Matt Smith's performances of all time, which is when he is the old man, and like he's old and frail, and Clara hands him the Christmas cracker and he like tries to do it and he can't do it because he's too old and she has to help him and it's so sad. It's great. And the poem and everything and like, yeah, no, just I love that about it too much to put it in anything less than great. So there you go. Time of the Doctor. All right, we're on to the Capaldi ones now. We're getting closer, boys and girls. We're getting closer. This is taking me all day. Deep Breath, I think, is good. I like Deep Breath. I think it's a good episode. I think it's a good starter to this Doctor. I think it characterizes him well. I like that you get to see him with Clara, and immediately 12 and Clara have a way better dynamic than 11 and Clara ever had, and I think that's really great about Deep Breath. It sets up Missy. It's fun. It's not perfect. It's the last time we ever see Jenny, Strax, and Vastra, which is really weird that they just never, ever show up again. The Doctor literally goes back to Victorian London in Series 10 and then just not in it for some reason. It's good, though. It's good. I like Deep Breath. Into the Dalek. I'd honestly say this is bad. The episode thinks it's being clever when it's not being clever, I feel. Like, it's like the message of the episode is, oh, the Doctor is similar to a Dalek. And it's like, okay, are you going to explore that at all? Or is that just like, oh, you're just saying that and that's it? That's the thing, is the Doctor is sometimes bad too. And it's like, okay. It's like the episode Dalek did this concept so much better in comparing the Doctor to a Dalek, in a way that had impact on his character and informed his series arc. This episode doesn't do that because he doesn't seem to have a series arc. It's just, very, very, No, I'd say it's bad. Robot of Sherwood, I'd also say that's probably bad. I hate the way the Doctor is so out of character in this episode. Like, he just, like, goes out of character to, like, act like a fucking kid having a tantrum. And it's just, like, not very fun. I also think, like, the threat of the episode isn't that good. Like, it's very whatever. There's some fun moments. Like, I like the bit where he tells them to stop bantering. That's fun, because I agree. I hate that sort of fucking bantering in media. Like, I fucking hate it. Like, fucking, they do it all the time in Viking stuff, where the Vikings are like, oh, I'm going to insult you, and it's going to look like we hate each other, but actually we're friends. And it's like, fuck off. Like, Skull, we're going to drink now. Fuck off. It's not a fun trope. Listen. Great episode, Listen. Great episode. I love Listen. Very, very good episode. I enjoyed this one a lot. It's, I think it speaks for itself and what it does. It's a very different episode of Doctor Who, and it plays on, a lot of the Doctor's insecurities in himself, and I think that's really good, especially because this series deals with a lot of, not in great depth, but it deals with, the Doctor being unsure of who he is and whether he's a good man or not, and I like that about it, and I think that it's a lot of what, Capaldi's Doctor is sort of all about. So I think Listen does a great job with that. It's a really fun concept. It's, kind of scary at times too. And it's got some great character work there, and it also plays into the stuff with Clara and Danny too. So that's cool. Great. Listen's great. Time Heist, middling. It's a fine concept, and I kind of like the twist at the end and stuff, and like how it all plays. Like, I think that's fun, but it's still a middling episode, isn't it? Like, doesn't do anything too special. The Caretaker. I think this is good. I don't know what it is about it, but when I rewatched it last time, I actually enjoyed it quite a bit. I think it was quite fun. I like seeing Capaldi doing his stuff. I like, he thinks that the person at the school that Clara's like dating is the one that looks like Matt Smith. Like, that's funny. I enjoy that. I enjoy his like relationship with Danny Pink, like that whole like, him calling him a general and stuff, and like there's that, Danny's past of being in the army, and like I just think, I think the Caretaker's quite good with his character writing and stuff, and I enjoy that. Kill the Moon. I'm gonna say this one's a war crime too. Fuck me. That's a fucking war crime if I've ever seen one. Fucking hell, that episode should be purged from history. It's fucking abysmal. Mummy on the Orient Express is a great episode. You know what? Fantastic even. Mummy on the Orient Express is a brilliant episode. Great character work between him and Clara. Great setting, great concept, great monster, great twist, great everything. Just a brilliant episode. Just fantastic. Really good. Probably definitely the best of Series 8 for sure. Flatline. Middling. It's just like inoffensively. I like Clara. Like I like Clara in this because she's like, stepping up to being the Doctor, and I think that plays into obviously her arc across, Series 8 and 9. This growing into this character who wants to be like the Doctor and tries to mimic the Doctor to the point where she's hurting herself. And I think Flatline is sort of this good episode that deals with that. But other than that, the episode's a bit boring. So it's fine. In the Forest of the Night, that's awful. We don't need to say any more about that. Dark Water and Death in Heaven. There's some great stuff in here, but is it great itself? No, I'd probably put it in good. I think it's probably just good. I enjoy the Cybermen. I enjoy Missy. Missy's very good. Highlight, a standout. Her relationship with the Doctor is good to see. I think, she's a perfect match for Capaldi's Doctor. and so I enjoy that aspect of it. But there's also, like, it's also just a bit all over the place too, and doesn't really know what it's trying to say. I feel like there's not a lot of depth to it other than just kind of being interesting and fun in terms of, like, the relationship between the Doctor and Missy. But, like, yeah, other than that, I feel like it has a lot to say. So, whatever. Last Christmas. Middling again. Like, there's fun aspects to it, and the ending is cool, and I like the stuff with the Doctor and Clara. But other than that, just kind of, like, average. The Magician's Apprentice, which is familiar. I'd say this is good. I like this two-parter. I like this opening two-parter. I think I really like Capaldi in this one. It's cool to see the Daleks. I really like his relationship with Davros and that the conversations they have and stuff. I think that's really cool. And there's a lot of nuance there and interesting stuff to be said. Missy, again, is interesting. Her manipulating, like, Clara and stuff and all of that. You kind of got that mirror of, like, when she was a Dalek in Asylum, but, like, it doesn't really have anything to say. It's just kind of like, oh, that is like that other time when that happened. So, like, you know, but it's good. It's a good episode. Under the Lake Before the Flood. I think I really like this one. I think I put this in great. I think this is a great two-parter, actually. I really like it. I can't tell you why, though, but I do. Every time I watch it, I just have a really good time with it. And so I'd say it's pretty great. I like it a lot. The Girl Who Died. Oh, Jesus Christ. Middling because it's so average. And then The Woman Who Lived, bad because it's bad. And because me sucks. The Zygon Invasion, so Zygon Inversion. I gotta put this in great because I really like what they do with the Zygons. I really like how they use UNIT. I really like Kate Stewart in this. I think Clara's done really well for the time that she is in it. But also, I like the nuance of the Zygons themselves, their plan, what they're trying to do. I think that's really good. But also, of course, the war speech. Of course. Like, that moment alone, the rest of the episode could completely suck, which it doesn't. A lot of it's great. But that speech alone would raise this episode. Because fucking yes, let's go. That is Capaldi at his absolute best. That speech was written for Capaldi. I mean, obviously it was written for Capaldi. He was the actor that they wrote the script for, but you know what I mean. Really good. Just brilliant, beautiful, just encapsulates the Doctor and also has so much to say too. I think this episode does a great job of having something to say, something meaningful politically to say that Doctor Who, for a lot of Moffat's run, hasn't really touched on, I feel like. It's something that RTD used to do quite a bit and a lot of classic Who used to do is there's a lot of political allegories in what they do, whereas I feel like Moffat for most of his episodes doesn't really touch on those things, whereas in Zygon Invasion / Zygon Inversion, he really does, and I think it's just very, very, very strong. Sleep No More. Bad. We don't talk about Sleep No More. Face the Raven. Fantastic. Wait, should we put Zygon Inversion in Fantastic? I'm going to put it in Fantastic, actually, yeah. I'm moving it up. Zygon Invasion / Zygon Inversion, fantastic. Face the Raven, also fantastic. Brilliant, brilliant episode. I'm so sad that they undercut this by bringing Clara back and having her travel through space and time in a fucking 80s diner or whatever. That's dumb. Or 50s? I don't know. It's a who cares? Really great episode. Really, really good. That culmination of Clara's arc and what she's done and, like, trying to be like the Doctor and not being able to be like the Doctor and that caused her downfall, I think is really, really good. And you also got that moment at the end where the Doctor, like, kind of loses it. And I think that's really cool too. Seeing Capaldi get angry is, like, a great part of his character. And I think Face the Raven is, yeah, fantastic episode. Heaven Sent. Do I even have to say it? The God tier episode, probably. The God tier episode. This, again, is in the running for my favorite episode of Doctor Who. Not because it encapsulates the ins and outs of Doctor Who. If you only watched this episode of Doctor Who, you would not get an idea of what Doctor Who is about. But it's one of those episodes that when you're a fan of the show, stands out as... It is a masterpiece. It is a masterpiece of television, of writing, of directing, of performing. Just, it's... I don't need to tell you. I don't need to explain to you why Heaven Sent is an absolute banger of an episode. I don't, because everyone knows it. It's so clearly obvious why. And it's just, yeah, it's just beautifully directed. Capaldi's performance is stellar. The writing is just exactly on point. It is absolutely tremendous as an episode of Doctor Who. Heaven Sent will always be, God tier, the God tier episode. Hellbent is a war crime, should never have been made. Very bad. Very, very bad. That is fucking hell. The Husband's River Song. That's good. It's only good because most of the episode's kind of boring, but I do like seeing Capaldi and River together, and the ending is very touching. So, good episode. The Return of Dr. Mysterio. That's awful. I hate that one. The pilot. That's great. I really like the pilot. As an introduction to Bill, she's a very, very good character. I really like Bill. I think Capaldi in this episode is really good. Like, he's fully come into his own by this point, and he's doing a really, really good job in the pilot. I love him being lecturer at a university. I think that's really cool. It'd be nice if we actually got to see that arc. You know, how did he end up in that position? That would be cool. But I think it suits him, and that's really nice. I enjoy that aspect of his character, and Series 10 acts almost as like kind of like a reboot to refresh the show again. And I think it works very well in that aspect. I think the pilot's a very strong start. Smile, I think this episode's quite bad, actually. I think it's quite boring. I don't like the emoji droids. I put it up to middling. It's whatever. It's nothing special. Nothing special at all, but it's a nice first outing for Bill, I guess. Thin Ice, I think is great. I really like Thin Ice. I think it's a strong episode. It's got some nice political themes in there, and I think that's quite good. It's like, you know, quite subtle in how it does. Well, not entirely subtle, but like it weaves its way into the episode in a way that doesn't feel overtly like out of nowhere sort of thing. And so I think Thin Ice is really fun. I don't like that we don't get to see Jenny, Vaster, and Strax. They should have been in this probably. Like, why they're not in it? We're going to Victorian London. Why is the Doctor didn't even say goodbye to them? They never see them again. Bring them back. Someone bring them the fuck back. Knock Knock. I think Knock Knock's good. I like Knock Knock. I like, you know, it's kind of like this play on like a typical sort of horror type thing with like all the kids living, like it being in a house together sort of thing. Like I like that. That's fun. Like all these students together. I like that, and I think it's just a good episode. I like the relationship and dynamic in this one between Bill and the Doctor as well. So yeah, I think Knock Knock's good. Oxygen. Oxygen's great. Oxygen is great. No, fantastic. Oxygen's fantastic. That's great episode. Another one of Capaldi's all-time greats. The message behind this as well. The very, very Doctor Who anti-capitalist message is strong and conveyed in a way that's compelling too. I think Oxygen is very, very good. I really like this, and the little speech that Capaldi gives is at the end is very, very good. And also it sets up the Doctor going blind thing, which is an interesting thing that they do, to be honest. Extremist, Pyramid at the End of the World, and The Lie of the Land. I will put this in great. I really like this three-parter. I think it's really strong. I enjoy it. There's parts of it that I don't love, and I think maybe how it gets resolved is a little bit rushed and a bit messy. But I like the mystery, and I like the setup, and I like Bill in this. I think she really gets a chance to step into her own and really establish herself. And I think she's, really good in this one. Obviously, I forgot to mention in any of these that Nardole exists, which I do like him. But again, he's a bit more minor, isn't he? But yeah, overall, I think it's great. There's some dumb stuff, like the Doctor's able to fake a regeneration. Like, I guess he can do that now. I don't really know how, but there you go. He does do that. Yeah, but overall, great. I really like this three-parter. I think it's really good. Empress of Mars, I'd say is middling. Like, it's not bad by any means, but it's also kind of boring. So, it's very whatever. It's not egregiously bad or anything by any means, but it's whatever. The Eaters of Light. Oh, this episode sucks. I'd put this in bad, yeah. It's just, like, it's not egregiously bad, but it's like kind of like a Sleep No More almost. Or like The Long Game, where it's like, I would choose to skip this one, probably. It doesn't really do anything for me. The World Enough in Time and The Doctor Falls. That would have to go in fantastic. I think it's really good. There's some great performances here from all of our major characters. Bill does some great stuff in this episode. Nardole has some standout scenes. The Doctor, like, Capaldi is just giving it his all in this. There's some great stuff, like the Be Kind speech is brilliant. Missy is just, really well characterized. This, culmination of her arc across Series 10. And obviously as well, you've got, John Sims' Master comes back, and he is, great as ever. And his introduction is great. Like, the Cybermen in this, the Mondasian Cybermen, are terrifying. Like, actually terrifying, and I fucking love that. They are so good. Like, the World Enough in Time is, I think that's probably better than The Doctor Falls, but there are some great, probably better moments in The Doctor Falls. But altogether, it ends up being just this fantastic two-parter, which should have been Capaldi's last episode, I believe. I think The Doctor Falls should have been his last episode. I don't think we needed Twice Upon Time, but we got it, and it's It's bad, honestly. I'm sorry. I don't know if that's a hot take, because a lot of people like this one just because we get to see David Bradley as the first Doctor. And yes, he does a great job with what he's given, but what he's given is bad. So it's, you know, it's a bit of a rough one. Mark Gatiss is in it again because he is in Doctor Who for some reason all the time. He didn't need to be here. And it's that weird thing again where Moffat likes to go, you remember the Brigadier? Well, so do I. And it's like, okay, why have you done that? I don't know. Which is odd. And it's episode nothing really happens. It doesn't really have a message. It doesn't really have a theme. There's some fun stuff in it, like the first Doctor talking about why he set off from Gallifrey. There's some stuff like there's some mirroring between the first regeneration and the 12th Doctor's regeneration, which is fun. But then there's also a lot of bad in it too, like I've already listed. And there's stuff like fucking the Doctor remembers Clara again, because why should anything ever remain again, you know? Why should anything ever stay tragic and sad? Just get rid of all of the impact from everything that happens. You know, Clara didn't actually die. The Doctor didn't actually forget Clara. Like, But I will say I do like the 12th Doctor's final regeneration speech. I think it's very good. I think it's very moving. It's, you know, a bit weird that he's just standing in the TARDIS talking to himself, but I kind of like that. You know, he's like, you know, talking to the Doctor that's about to come, like, to try and get it right, and I think it's a good send-off for Capaldi. I think overall his era is very odd, and there's some, you know, more bad than there is good, but I value him. And I think that, you know, I would love to see him back one day, although he doesn't seem like he's very interested in that, which, fair enough. But I think he's terrific. I think he's not my favorite Doctor, but I think he's probably the best Doctor. And it's really a shame that he didn't get some great material to work with, like Eccleston and Tennant got. Very consistently good material, whereas Moffat is a lot more very high highs but very low lows, whereas RTD is a lot more consistently great, which is a shame for Capaldi. Now we're on to the war crime era of Doctor Who. First up, The Woman Who Fell to Earth. I feel like the best we're gonna get in this whole era is middling. I don't think I'm gonna put anything in good. Actually, there's probably one. There's one I put in good. Okay. Fucking Christ. Here we go. Jesus Christ. The Woman Who Fell to Earth. I'd say this is middling. It's not egregious. It's really not egregious. I mean, there's some really bad stuff in there. Like, the companions are fucking terrible. There's no well, I mean, they're consistently bad. They're just these, you know, fucking just bland nothing blank slates that don't do anything, don't interact with anything properly. The Doctor is, like, fine in this. It's not egregiously bad, but it's, like, whatever. Yeah. I guess. It's fine. It's fine. I mean, it's not fine. It's not fine at all. But I don't think it's as bad as some of the other stuff, so I'm gonna put it in middling. Alright? The Ghost Monument. This is really hard. This is bad. The Ghost Monument's bad, isn't it? Oh, God. Because, you know, I cannot say this is even middling. They get to the planet, this other planet, and Ryan's like, we're on another planet. And Graham's like, yeah. And that's it. And it's like, fucking Christ. And that's the whole episode. It's like, that's the whole era. Is the companion just making, like, remarks. And then the other companion being like, yeah. And the Doctor being like, oh, I'm going to give exposition now. It's fucking terrible. The Ghost Monument's worse than The Woman Who Fell to Earth for sure. Yeah, they're going bad. Rosa. Middling, because there are some parts of Rosa that I can see what they were trying to do. But most of it's bad, isn't it? Like, Space Racist Man. And the epic moment on the bus where, like, it's just, like, a bit silly. But also, like, they do try and play into racism. Like, that's quite, you know... I don't want to say good. I mean, it's like, at least there's like a bit of nuance there. They should have done more with it, especially when two of the companions are like, you know, minorities. So it makes, you know, I feel like there's more depth you could have done there. You know, at least it's something that is touched upon and is mentioned. It's not like fucking the Shakespeare Code when the Doctor just says like, just bloody you walk around like you own the place. I don't know why you speak with that accent in particular, but, you know, that's bad. Arachnids in the UK, that's fucking awful. Fucking awful. Fucking hell, that's awful. And we all know why. That's Jesus fuck. I'm not gonna go through this and critique every episode of the Chibnall era because I cannot. We know, all right. Demons of the Punjab. That episode's bad. I think it's stupid. It's not as bad as some of the other ones by any means, but like fuck me. Like it's dumb. It's just dumb. It's just stupid writing. The fucking Pating episode. It's fucking. Put it in awful. I don't like this one. I don't like that. Kablam. Yep. Also awful. Jesus Christ. Just terrible, terrible messaging. Just like absolutely fucking terrible. Jesus Christ. Like the Doctor being pro-capitalism and stuff. Like when, the Doctor, they've been anti-capitalist for as long as they've been around. We've got the Witchfinders. Just middling. Just middling. I don't think it's like particularly egregiously bad. It's just like whatever. It takes you away. Another one that's like people say is like really good, but like it's not, is it? It's not really good, is it? It's still like written just as bad. It's just like a decent concept that's written poorly. I'll put it in middling to give it a bit of credit, but like, whatever. The Battle of Ranskor Av Kolos, fucking awful. Jesus. God, revisiting these and having to like remember that they exist is pain. Fucking pain. Resolution is bad. It's like got some moments where like the Doctor confronts the Dalek for the first time that's like, which is why it's not awful, I guess. Spyfall, I'd say it's middling. I remember when I first watched it, I thought it was good, and then like I watched it again and was like, oh no, it's not, is it? Especially because you've got like the Doctor beats the Master with racism. Yeah, you know what? Actually, this is bad. Orphan 55, just awful. Absolutely fucking awful. Just terrible. Fucking terrible. Fucking hell. Nikola Tesla's Night of Terror. I put this in middling. It's still not great. But there are some aspects of it that I think are like, fun. And some parts of it that are like okay. So we'll put that in, middling. Fugitive of the Jadoon. Awful. Fuck that. Praxeus. Middling. No, it's bad. I forgot what episode that is. Yeah, Praxis is bad. Can you hear me? That we'll put in middling. Sorry, I'm just racing through these because I don't have a lot to say. I just think they're bad. The Haunting of Villa Diodati. Okay, this is the one I would put in good. I put this one in good. I genuinely think it's like good. I don't have a lot of like, it's not perfect and it's in a series that's not good. And so it doesn't play into core character arcs and like, there's not like a core theme of it sort of thing. But like the characters are like, they're well written. The Doctor has doctory moments. Like I will say when the Doctor confronts the Cyberman, it's good. Like it is good. Like I think it's a great scene. Like when I see that, I'm like, oh, that's what the 13th Doctor should have been like, man. And it's just a shame that the rest is so poor. So I will say I think that episode's good. I will say that. I do think that. Absolute war crime. If I could put it in lower, I would. It's worse than war crime, actually. I would argue that is worse than a war crime. Is there something worse than a war crime? I don't know. But it's not. It's wow. Very bad. Very, very bad. Christ. Revolution of the Daleks. That's awful. I get what they were trying to go for, but like, fucking no. That doesn't work for me at all. I don't think it's executed in a way that's like compelling at all. Even though I understand what they were trying to do, I will say that is awful. The Halloween Apocalypse, which is a terrible name for an episode, by the way. I might put this in middling. No, I put it in bad, actually. It's War of the Sontarans. That's also bad. Once Upon Time. Yeah, it's also bad. Village of Angels. That's middling. If there was between, like, if I could put this between middling and good, I would. Village of Angels, because it's not quite good, but it's not quite middling either. You know what I mean? It's like a bit above middling, a bit below good, though. Village of Angels is like the only other episode like Haunting of Villa Diodati that I think is a slight step above Chibnall's normal stuff, and that's because Haunting is not written by Chibnall, and neither is, well, Village of Angels was written, yeah, because Haunting is written by Maxine Alderton, yeah. Haunting is written by Maxine Alderton, and so is Village of Angels, but Chris Chibnall also wrote on it too, which is, I think, why it's not quite as good as Haunting. Survivors of the Flux. Yeah, it's just bad. Vanquishers, that's fucking awful. I don't like that at all. Eve of the Daleks, I genuinely think is awful. That episode, like, actually upsets me how bad it is. It's so dumb. It's so fucking dumb. The Daleks are so dumb in it. It's so dumb. Legend of the Sea Devils. It's also awful. I hate what they do with fucking Yasmin's stuff. It's just like so not. It's just the opposite of compelling. Just does not work for me at all. Comes out of absolutely nowhere and doesn't feel natural at all. Sea Devils look fucking weird. The story is just so nothing. It's another example of the Doctor just leaving someone to kill themselves again, because I don't know why she keeps doing that. And yeah, awful. Power of the Doctor, middling. I put it in middling. The reason being, yes, it's a mess. Yes, it is all over the place. Yes, it's kind of bad. However, there are moments that I like. I do like, you know, Ace speaking to the 7th Doctor. I do like Tegan speaking with the 5th Doctor. Even if they're a bit on the nose and a bit cat-handed, I do like those moments, though, as well. I really like the 13th Doctor's final moments. Not necessarily with Yaz, because I think it's stupid that she just, like, goes... It's like this unspoken thing that Yaz will just go. And it's like, alright, like, why does she have to leave, though? I don't really understand that. Like, at least address it, right? But I do like the 13th Doctor's final moments. I do like her final lines and stuff. I think it's very nice. Honestly, it made me tear up a little bit. Even though I did not like the 13th Doctor, I did not like her era at all. That final moment to me was like, she felt like the Doctor for a minute. And it was like, she is the Doctor, and we're moving on, and it's, you know, we're going somewhere else, and obviously David Tennant shows up. You got this throwback to, you know, when he first became the Doctor with the teeth thing and the, you know, the 3 watts, like, great. It's like we're getting back to the RTD era. I think part of why I think the Power of the Doctor is middling and not just bad is because it was this anticipation of we're getting Russell T Davies back, we're getting David Tennant back, you know, we're getting, you know, a good era of Doctor Who. Ncuti's going to be the Doctor soon. Like, we're getting this refresh that we've been desperately needing for 5 years. And so I guess that's sort of why I think it's middling, not just bad, even though, like, the episode itself is bad. I just kind of enjoyed the ride because I was like, it's over. It's all over now. We can move on. And we're going to get good Doctor Who again. But there we go. Fuck me. That took me 2.5 hours. 2.5 fucking hours. But here is my definitive tier list of all of modern Doctor Who. I think I did a pretty good job. I think I did a pretty damn good job. What I'll do is I'll leave a link in the description to this if you want to just look at it yourself. I'll also leave a link in the description to the tier list itself, made by The Who Critic, who you can follow on Twitter if you want, and do your own. And let me know what yours would be by linking me to, like, a thing. I don't know if links... you might not be able to post links in the comments, actually. They might say no to that. But that's it. We absolutely did it. I'm really looking forward to the new era of Doctor Who next year. It's going to be very exciting. Maybe on my second channel, link in the description, by the way, I'll do a tier list of Series 14 when it comes out. That could be fun. If you care about what I have to say, maybe we'll do that over on my second channel, because normally that's not what we do here on this channel. I've been wanting to make a Doctor Who video for a while, like a proper in-depth critique video essay on Doctor Who. I'm not quite sure what I will do with that or how I will tackle it, but I would love to do some sort of insightful content on Doctor Who in the future, so maybe that's something to do down the line. Anyway, that's it from me. I hope you enjoyed going through all of these episodes of Doctor Who. It was fun to sit down and chat through all of these, even if I was just sitting for 2.5 hours talking to myself, but it's been fun to revisit, you know, the entirety of modern Doctor Who and see where I would put everything. These obviously aren't set in stone. I feel like, you know, you could argue one way or the other, and I could change my mind on certain ones, so I'm not married to any of these ideas. It was just like in the spur of the moment, you know, which one, where would I put it? Where would I put it? So there is that. If you enjoyed, drop a like. Don't forget to leave a comment, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you for the rest of the advent calendar in tomorrow's video. What's it gonna be? We'll find out tomorrow in the afternoon. What will I do for tomorrow's advent calendar? Who knows? Anyway, thank you very much, and I'll see you soon for more advent calendar content. Thank you all very much. See you soon. Bye-bye.